Hello learners, a very good morning to you all and a warm welcome to you all in this session. This topic for today's discussion is product, which is a part of AMK01, BCOE 142, MCO 06, and it is for the students of BCom, MCom and BBA retailing. Before discussing the topic product, let us see what all we have discussed in the previous sessions. In the previous sessions, up till now, we have discussed or we have completed block 1 of the course, and we have discussed basic concepts of marketing, evolution of marketing, segmentation, targeting and positioning as most commonly used marketing framework. How do we segment, and then how do we target, and how do we position our products in the market, and then we also talked of consumer behavior. In this session, now we are going to learn about what can be termed as product. When we say product, what all comes under the scope of product? What is a product? What should be the features of product and the classification of product, levels and dimensions of product, and besides we'll also see how are the services, as intangible products, how are they different from the tangible products, and what are the various challenges that are faced or that can be faced while going for services marketing. So as I said, let us see what can be a product. Product can be tangible, can be intangible. We have been discussing it since beginning, that it can be tangible, it can be intangible. So tangible commodities can be anything like the keyboard which I am using, the computer which I am using. Those are tangible commodities likewise. And that means you can touch, you can feel, you can see, it has some physical appearance. Besides, there are intangible commodities also, which are also termed as services, which you cannot touch or feel, but it has the capacity to satisfy or your want. So services has utility for you, right, as for you as a customer. And then experiences are also termed as product. For instance, when you go to a restaurant, you go there for maybe lunch or dinner, but the experience that you have there, right, that is also a product, right? Events like, say for example, some musical concerts or maybe any such events, they are also products and they also need to be marketed. Persons, they are also product in a sense if they are to be marketed. For instance, if we talk of any celebrities, if we talk of any person from entertainment industry or maybe politicians when the elections comes, so they also needs to be marketed. And then properties, organizations also, they can also be termed as products, and then ideas and plans, right? So certain ideas are there or certain plans are there, they can also be termed as products. Now let us see the features of products. So products are those which can be offered to a market. So it is an offering, and if it is an offering, if it has to be offered in a market, that means it should have utility. Utility means it should have some value that can satisfy the wants of the consumers or customers. When I say utility, to satisfy want, that means what is want? We have discussed in previous sessions that when intense desire for a need, so when intense desire or a need is backed by ability to pay and willingness to pay, it becomes want. And when want is backed by price and time, it becomes demand. So anything which has a want or anything which is demanded in the market can be termed as product. Besides, we have always seen that when we are buying a particular commodity or service, we are not only buying that commodity or service, we are also buying the hopes and expectations that we have for that particular commodity or service. We have certain expectations in our mind as a customer that if we use a particular commodity or service, it will give some value to us. So it is a bundle of attributes, hopes and expectations. Product is made at a cost, whether you are producing services or you are producing tangible products, right, which are physical goods. Everything involves cost, and since we are there in the market to earn profit as well, we are business ventures, so it has to be sold at a price. So product has a cost and it has a price as well, and price of the products depends on various factors other than cost. Cost is one thing, it is there, cost plus profit is generally price, but other than that, when I say profit margin, right, so it depends on what kind of segment are you targeting. So price of the product depends upon the segment of the market also. If your segment of market is such that the income of the segment is higher, then maybe you can have higher priced commodities over there. But if your segment is such that the income of the consumers are less in that particular segment, in that case you have to be very particular, or you cannot keep your prices very high, right? And each product has a life. After a period it needs replacement or needs to be reinvented. That means, like we human beings, we have a life. We come into being, we live a certain life, and then we go away from this world. Likewise, even product, they also have a life cycle. They come into being, they are offered to a market, they are circulated, they are used, and after a passage of time, after some time, with the changes in the environment, with the changes in the needs and preference of the customers, the utility, the value of the product, it tends to fade away. So in that case, either it has to be replaced or it has to be reinvented, depending upon the situation, depending upon the product and the scope of product, I would say, which we will discuss later. Besides, a product needs to be relevant. That means it has to be some value, it has to have some offer, some value to offer to the customers. Unless it is of some utility to the customer, it is of no use, it cannot be offered to the market. So it has to be relevant, and it needs to be communicated. Customers won't know that there is a particular commodity or service available in the market. So every product needs to be communicated properly to the market so that it can be circulated, it can be offered properly. And product needs a name so that people can connect it with that particular need. For instance, suppose I have a particular need, and if I want to satisfy that need, I should have some name should immediately come to my mind, that yes, if I buy this particular commodity or service, my need can be satisfied. So a product needs a name, which can also be termed as brand. Again, we will discuss it later in different sessions. And product should be adaptable, which is also termed as potential product. We will discuss it later in this session today. When I say adaptable, since market is very dynamic in nature, it is changing, the tastes and preferences of the customers are changing, the whole environment is changing, in fact. So with the changing environment, with the changing need and preferences of the customer, the product should have enough scope to adapt to those particular changes. So the products which have enough scope to adapt to those changes, they can be revived, reinvented, and if the product does not have scope for those particular changes, then maybe it has to be replaced from the market, right? Now we will see what are the various kinds of products that are available in the market. We can classify, there are various kinds of products, and we can classify those products on various bases. So let us see, on the basis of tangibility, how can we classify them, how can we categorize them. So one is physical or tangible products. The other is intangible products, and the third is hybrid products. So when I say physical or tangible products, it means something which is physical, which is appearing, which is existing in front of you, which you can touch, you can see, you can make judgment, prior judgment, even before buying it, even before consuming it, right? So those tangible products, they can be further categorized into consumer goods, industrial goods, durable and non-durable goods. Consumer goods, which are meant for the final consumers. We have discussed who are the final consumers in the previous session when we were discussing consumer behavior. So consumer goods which are meant for the ultimate consumers or the final consumers who are consuming it for themselves or maybe for a group of people, but not for reselling. Industrial goods are those goods, on the contrary, which are bought by the industrial organizations or organizational customers, I would say. Again, organizational customers, who are organizational customers, we have already discussed it, but quickly I will tell you, the customers who are buying some services or commodities, not for their own consumption, but for further reselling, they are called organizational customers. So these industrial goods are for organizational customers. And demand for this, see, demand for consumer goods, they are direct demands. It is termed as direct demand because the commodity is demanded by the final consumer, and if it is offered in the market, it will be consumed directly by the consumers. But demand for industrial goods are termed as derived demand. Why? Because their demands depends on the demands made by the ultimate consumers or final consumers. Say for instance, I am the consumer of, for instance, a washing machine, right? I want to buy a washing machine. So washing machine would be a consumer goods, but all the parts, accessories, techniques, technology which is used to make this washing machine, which is used to produce this washing machine, those are called as industrial goods. And these goods have derived demand because it is demanded, because there is a demand for washing machine. Had there been no demand for washing machine, there would not have been demand for things which are used for making this washing machine. That is why the demand for industrial goods are termed as derived demand. And then we have durable and non-durable goods. Durable goods, at the term itself suggests that it has a longer shelf life. It is there when you buy it for a longer period of time and you don't buy it frequently. Whereas on the contrary, the non-durable goods are those goods which are bought very frequently, right? So those were physical or tangible goods. Now, the second category of products on the basis of tangibility is, services. They are intangible. They are also called as virtual goods or maybe experiences, because they cannot be touched, they cannot be seen, but they can also only be felt, and you can only judge this utility or value of this product, intangible product, only after consuming it. Whereas you could judge the utility or value of tangible products even before consuming it, by the appearance, by seeing the technology or certain things, the physical shape of the commodity you can understand, or you can judge whether it is going to fetch some value or not, or maybe up to what extent it is going to give you some value. But services, it is the other way around. Here in tangible commodities, what you are doing, the goods are first produced and then sold and then consumed. This is what is happening. But in services, it is happening the other way. The goods are first sold and then it is produced and then it is consumed. How come? So for instance, if you are going to hire a room in a hotel, so first of all, the room services to be sold. So you are paying the price maybe. So you are buying the commodity, right? And then it is produced. Then you are shown a particular room as per your choice or suitability. And then after going to that room, then you are using it. So in services, the whole process is different. First of all, the services are being sold and then they are produced and then they are consumed. The other category is hybrid products. Hybrid products are those products which have both physical and virtual elements. And nowadays they are becoming more common, like softwares. If you see, you can purchase a physical version of this software and install it on premises. So it has a kind of element of both the classification, tangibility also it has, and it has intangibility also. Now, on the basis of customer type also we can categorize the products. On the basis of customer types, the products can be either B2B, which is business to business, or B2C, which is business to consumers, or B2B2C, that is business to consumers and digital products, right? So what is B2B? From business to business, again, the industrial goods are B2B, from business to business. It is sold from one business to another business. Why? Because the another business, they are buying it, they are consuming it not for their own consumption but for reselling, right? So that is why it is called as B2B. B2C, we have already seen that the goods or commodities which are used by the final consumers, they are termed as B2C, from business to consumer. They can be tangible, they can be intangible, they can be hybrid also. Now there is another category which is from B to B2C, that is from business to consumers. That means a commodity which is sold to the business but it is used by the consumer, or maybe the final consumers, they are using it via some other business. So that is why it is termed as B to B2C. For example, the IRCTC software, the portal that we use, the IRCTC portal, the software, the portal must have been bought by the railways, but who are using it? We, the customers, are using it. Likewise, another example, OpenTable. The company sell its online reservation booking software directly to restaurants. We as customers of the restaurants, we are not buying this OpenTable software. It is bought by the restaurants, but we, the customers, we are using it while we are looking for available dining options. So these kinds of products are called as B to B to C, from business to customer. Now, as I have said that there are two events, which have faced the change of marketing entirely. We have discussed it in the first session. One was the Industrial Revolution and the other is Information and Technology, revolution, Information and Technology Revolution. So, with the advent and advancement of information and technology, these digital projects, they are gaining much more importance. Now they are more in demand. So they include audio video file, maybe electronic books, which is called e-books. There are books also, then desktop or mobile applications, downloadable templates, graphics, fonts, PSD files, and so on and so forth. So these are digital products also, which are used both by final consumers and also by industrial consumers or maybe organizational consumers. And then we can classify the product on the basis of purchasing behavior of customers. In the previous sessions we have seen that customers behave differently while buying different kind of commodities. There are certain commodities, when they have to buy those commodities, they will pay very less attention, they won't pay much attention to it. They do kind of habitual buying. They have a habit of picking up a particular brand or maybe a particular commodity, and they'll pick it without taking much time. So there is less involvement of consumers. Whereas there are certain products, for which their buying behavior is complex. That means their involvement is higher. They take much more time while buying those particular commodity or services. Right? So let us see, or maybe on the basis of the purchasing behavior that the customer shows, the products can be categorized as convenience, shopping, specialty, and unsought. So convenience products are those products which are purchased frequently and with little planning or effort. Again, I would say which have, when the customer shows habitual buying, that is termed as convenience buying. And whereas the shopping products are those products which are less frequently bought than convenience, and they have relatively higher price, therefore the involvement of consumer before making the purchase decision is higher. Right? So those are called shopping products. But now again, with the use of information technology, many shopping products are now they can be termed as convenience products also, because the platform is available and you can very easily look for the products, maybe compare it and make your decision. That is why many shopping products, they are now being converted as convenience products. And then there is specialty products. So what is specialty products? Products which are meant for a particular segment, the niche products, that is features that appeal to a specific group of customers, for a specific group of segment or specific segment of customers, right? They are called specialty products. For example, high-end cars, luxury mobiles, famous paintings, etc. They are specialty products. They are not commonly bought. They are meant for a particular segment only. And then there are commodities which are called as unsought commodities. So unsought commodities are, they have little or no proactive customer demand, and this category includes new products maybe and products where the direct benefit to the customer is very low. And since they do not perceive a need for this particular kind of commodity, this is called as unsought commodity, which is not desired, which has very low need, right? For example, if you say funeral services, maybe fire extinguishers, they are termed as unsought commodities. Now let us see what are the various levels or dimensions of products. Like we have, like a human has anatomy. Likewise, the product also, they have certain levels, they also have an anatomy. How come? If the product which has physical appearance, you are seeing only, or even if there is no physical appearance, whether it is tangible or it is intangible, we are only looking at the utility or value that it is going to give us as a customers. But if you try to analyze the whole layers or dimensions of products, there are certain layers, there are 5 levels of products. And those levels are the core product, the actual product, the expected product, augmented product, and potential product. The same, different levels for the same product. Particular commodity or service, it may have a core product level, the actual product level, the expected product level, and the augmented product level and potential product level. So what are these different levels? Core product level, when I say it, means the core benefits or utility or value which a commodity or service is intended to give. That is called core product, right? We'll see it with examples also. And then actual product. So the benefits, the values it must be having, again if I take the example of washing machine, the value that it provides is what? Giving you clean clothes with lesser efforts. So that is core product, but the actual product is the washing machine itself. The physical appearance of the washing machine is actual product, and expected product is that the benefits that are additionally expected by the customers, those are expected products, right? And then comes augmented product, additional factors or additional services that you provide with that particular product. For instance, after sales services, or maybe installation services. So those kinds of when they are added to a particular product, it becomes augmented product. And then in the beginning of this session I have said that as a feature of product, it is important that product should be adaptable. It should have scope to adapt to the changes which is going to be there in the environment. So potential product are those product only when the augmentation and transformation that product may undergo in future, they are termed as potential product, right? One thing is important, that each level of these products, the 5 levels of these products, they add value to the customers. If it is only core, it is of no use to the customers. When it is, unless it is actual product, it won't give you any utility. It has to come into certain shape and size, right? Likewise, the expected product or augmented product or even potential product, they also have certain values to offer to the customer. So each level adds value to the customer, and the level constitute a customer value hierarchy. Let us take certain examples for this. Like suppose I am talking of services, intangible commodities, and as I have taken an example of a hotel room. So the core benefit that you want, the core value that you want from that particular service is rest and sleep. The actual service or the actual commodity in this case is hotel room. The bed, the bathroom, the towel, the toiletries, desk, closet, I mean all the fixtures and furnitures which are there in the room, they form the part of actual product, and they are translating core benefit to a basic product. And then what is expected product? That yes, everything is there, all the fixtures and furnitures are there, but they have to be functional, they have to be in operation. And for instance, you expect that when you go to a hotel room, you expect that the towels that are provided, they should be clean and fresh. The bed, you expect that it should be comfortable. And then augmented products, like when you provide added services with that hotel room, room service, or maybe complimentary breakfast that you are providing, or any other meal that you are providing, the good food that you are providing, the restaurant which is serving good food to the customers if there is a need. So when these are added to the hotel room, it becomes augmented product. And then potential product, depending, you must have noticed that when you check out of the hotel room, there is a mechanism to give feedback also. So on the basis of that feedback, and maybe on the basis of the changes that are happening in the society, on the basis of changes that are being incorporated by the competitors, there are certain elements which you may like to add to your commodity, right? So those elements, when they are added, they become potential product. Let us take an example from the tangible product also, as I took example of washing machine. In this case, the core benefit or core value is ease of cleaning clothes. That means you want some comfort, right? So that is core level. The actual level is the washing machine that you can see, the physical dimensions of the product. It all parts such as drum, filter, hose pipe, the knobs, etc., right? And then the expected. You are expecting that it works properly, and it has ease of use, so that becomes expected product. Augmented, when you are getting additional services with that particular commodity, when you are getting additional services with your washing machine. So for example, warranty and guarantee that you are being provided, the delivery, the installation, the demonstration, packaging, etc., they become augmented product. And potential, transformation of product in future, such as changes in technology, attributes, feature, etc., then it becomes potential product. Now, till now we have mainly talked of tangible and intangible, both kinds of products. Now we'll see the services. What are the features of services and which makes it different from the commodities? And that is why, when we are talking of services of marketing, it is a whole game altogether, a whole different game altogether, I would say, right? So what are those features? Number one is intangibility, which we have already discussed. It is intangible. Inseparability. It does not have the potential to be separated from the producer, right? So it is there with the producer, the one who is producing it, or the one who is rendering the services. It is with the person or with the organization, right? The customer has to come to that organization to take those services. Even with the advent of again information technology, many services, they are coming to your doorstep, but the people who are producing it, that means the service providers, they are coming to your doorstep. So they cannot be separated. The services that they are rendering and the one who is rendering those services, they cannot be separated. Then it has variability. In case of physical products, you may have the process of standardization, that each and every commodity that you produce, suppose you are producing maybe 5,000 units of this keyboard, the same keyboard. So because of the standardization, variability is not there, or maybe very meager, right? But in case of services, there is no standardization. So the services are variable. Maybe, for the same person in a different period of time, or maybe for different persons in different period of time. And then it is perishable also. It cannot be stored, it cannot be stocked, unlike physical commodities. They can be stored, they can be stocked. Suppose there is no demand for a particular commodity today, physical commodity today, they can be stocked for maybe future you can sell it, right? But in case of services, they are perishable in nature. Perishable in nature means if they are not used, it is gone, the opportunity is gone, right? Next day, next opportunity comes, but for this day, this opportunity is gone. For example, suppose any seat of aircraft, it is unsold, it remains unsold. The benefit or maybe the profitability of that particular thing is gone, right? Then again, heterogeneity, it resembles to the variability. It has fluctuating nature of demand, like with different season, or maybe for instance in holidays, you see the demand for certain commodities, they increases, and in the rest of the season they won't have that much in demand, right? But again, although they have fluctuating nature of demand, inventory cannot be kept for this. So we have to have different kind of marketing strategies to deal with this kind of commodities. And no transfer of ownership. When you are buying a commodity or service, the ownership is transferred from the seller to the consumer, but here ownership is not transferred. You are only providing the services, but it is vested with the service provider. And then simultaneity, that means production and consumption, they both are done simultaneously. It is not that it is produced, kept and sold, it is and then consumed. No, it is produced and consumed simultaneously. For instance, when you go to a doctor, the doctor is rendering services then and there, right? So it is produced and consumed simultaneously. So if we see the challenges which are associated with the marketing, like in case of physical commodities, you can show a sample to your customer and customer can make judgment on the basis of that sample. But in the case of services, can you show a sample? No, you cannot. For example, if a doctor has to do a surgery, it cannot show a sample surgery. So services, since it is very difficult to convince the customer, because the customer will only be satisfied when the services are being used. So while promoting these kinds of commodities, while promoting services, the most important factor that we should consider is trust building. If you can earn the trust of the customers, that helps a lot to you, because again, trust building means loyal customer means good references to others and fetching other customers to your business. The inseparability between the service product and service producer unfolds unique challenges for service marketers. Since it is inseparable, again, you cannot see that when you buy a particular commodity, say for example, you bought a mobile phone, you've got something in your hand, but when you're buying a services, you're buying a spa, service. So you don't get something, you take it, you consume it, and you come out, empty hand. So you have paid the price, but in turn you cannot see anything which is tangible in your hands. So that's why the challenges are are much more here. Unlike goods, services cannot be produced and then quality checked and and then to be given to the customers. So quality control is also difficult in this services or intangible commodities. Service encounters are affected by moods and personality combinations between provider and customer. Again, as I discussed, inventory is not possible in these kinds of services. So keeping all these challenges or difficulties in mind, when we talk of product mix of tangible commodity, or when we talk of marketing mix of tangible commodity, we say that there are 4 P's of marketing mix. One is product, price, promotion and place, which is physical distribution. But when we talk of services, or when we talk of intangible commodity, and then we talk of marketing mix, we add 3 more elements to it. Besides product, price, promotion and place, which is physical distribution, we add 3 more P's, 3 more elements, and they are people, process and physical evidence. Because if the people who are serving, the people who are having encounters with the customers every day, if they are efficient, if they are capable, then the customer delight is ensured. Likewise, the physical evidence that you are creating, again in the case of restaurant, if I say, the ambience which is there, that gives you an edge, that tries to convert this intangibility, and that gives some element of tangibility to this intangible nature of commodity. So that is why you have to take care of 3 things and the process through which you are giving those services. So that is why these 3 elements, they get even more importance when we are talking of services marketing. Now let us quickly see what is the difference between tangible commodities and intangible commodities, or comparison if we want to see between goods and services. In terms of marketing mix, in case of goods we have 4 elements: product, price, promotion, place, 4 P's, and when we talk of services it has 7 P's: product, price, promotion, place and people, process and physical evidence, right? In case of goods we are selling value, in case of services we are selling relationship. In case of goods, products come to the customers, right? But in case of services, the customer is coming to the producer to take the services, right? The physical goods, if you don't want to have it, suppose, or if you want to change it, maybe you can resell it to some other person, to some other party, but services cannot be resold. Products can be returned if not liked, but services cannot be, once consumed it cannot be returned. Product and the company producing, they are separable in case of products, in case of goods, but in case of services they are inseparable. But in this case, in the case of goods, the products can be standardized but cannot be customized. But in case of services, products may not be standardized but it can be customized as per the choice of and preferences and taste of individual customers, right? And quality of product can be easily measured, whereas quality of service can be measured only after consuming it. So these, if you want to compare goods and services, we can have these parameters while comparing it. So today we have discussed product, the various classifications. In the next session we will be discussing product mix and product line. So till then, stay safe, happy learning.